Hi, it's Lee from the Japanese Water Gardens. Just had a really busy day, and one of the customers who came in was asking a lot of questions about what do you do when you're on holiday. Now, he's a subscriber of mine and he suggested that I made a video about it. I promised him that I would, and there's no better time to make a video like that than tonight. So here it is. This is what I would do when I'm going away on holiday, or what I recommend you need to think about when you're taking a holiday. The first thing that people worry about when they're away is who is going to feed the fish. Let's get some fish food out. Got a big tub of it in here. This is the one I want. This is Nishikoi fish food. Good fish food. That's it. Take that out. So this is the question that we always get asked. How am I going to feed me fish while I'm away on holiday? Always hungry, these fish in here. Most of the time, I would actually recommend that you don't feed the fish while you're away on holiday. A fish feeder is probably a waste of money. Most people's fish are more than capable of managing for a week or a fortnight or even 3 weeks. They can live off the algae that's growing on the side of the tank. There'll be insects and things like that that the fish will capture. You certainly don't need a machine standing at the side that ends up spewing out loads of mouldy fish food. There is an exception, and that's if you've got very small fish like fry. Small fish like fry are not going to appreciate it if you leave them for 3 weeks with nothing. You'd have to have a solution to that. But big fish, they're more than capable of managing without handfuls and handfuls of fish food going in every day. So most people think they need to get a neighbour round to feed them. And if you do, what I definitely recommend you don't do is give them access to a big tub like this. Because all that they're going to do is chuck handfuls and handfuls of this in all the time. And the fish are always hungry, so they'll just keep throwing more fish food in. That's not going to do them any good, that falling in there. So if the neighbour's involved, if they're coming round, what we need to do is we need to ration the fish food for them. We need to prepare a few little bags, cellophane bags, of fish food for them. You could even write on them what day they're supposed to put it in. And you need to make it very clear to them that they're not to go out and buy a load more fish food, and they're not to deviate. They're to put bag one in on day one and so on. And certainly don't give them access to the big tub of fish food like this, because all they're going to do is they're going to keep chucking in handfuls and handfuls of fish food, and that's going to end up with your water going murky, your pump blocked up and your filter overflowing. Nice fish in here. Just put a few extra ones in actually. These are all in the 159-pound tank. So fish feeding, we don't really need to worry about that. So what do we need to think about? But the thing that bothers me more than anything is this. Keeping the pump running. This is super important. And what we could do with is having that friend or neighbour, instead of them coming round to feed the fish, having them come round to check that your pumps are working and you've not had a power cut. Power goes off, fish are not going to be happy. The best person for this job is actually a neighbour, because they'll be closest and they're probably going to be on the same power line as what you are. So if their power goes out, there's a good chance your power's gone out as well. What I suggest that you do is you have a word with your neighbour before you go away, and you explain to them about the pond. Bring them round, show them your fish, show them your pond, and make sure that you give them an opportunity to experience what the pond is like when things are running properly. So you need to take them around and you need to show them your pump return. You need to explain to them that you have an aerator in the corner and that the fish need the movement of the water to breathe. Most ponds have a sound, and when everything's working properly, the sound right and the fish will look right. It does take a bit of experience to realise when something's wrong. So inviting your neighbour round beforehand and letting them spend 20 minutes there and showing them everything will give them an opportunity to learn how your pond should be when everything's working as it should be. I also recommend that you actually show them. Bloody hell, that's making a racket. What's that? Ah, the air pump's banging against the basket. You should show them where everything plugs in on your pond. Now this might sound incredibly obvious. That really is making a racket. Move that out of the way. It might sound really obvious that they're going to need to find these things, but it's not always obvious where they are. I've been to quite a few ponds and it's taken me literally 10 minutes to find where everything's plugged in. Sometimes it might be behind some bushes, could be hidden away in a garage, and it's not always easy to trace the cables back, they're buried in the ground and so on. So take them out and show them where everything is plugged in. Another thing that you should show them is where your circuit breaker is. Now that might be located in the house. In our case, it's in here. Your main circuit breaker is going to have RCDs in it like this. And quite often, when there's a problem, some of these might be tripped out. If they come to your pond and they can't get it working, might well be a box in your house hidden under your stairs that resembles this, where a switch has gone over. So show them where this is and try and locate the one that operates the pond while you're there. Always worth knowing as well. When people have a pond, it always needs maintenance. Maintenance is always important. And part of that maintenance is usually cleaning out a filter. Now the last thing that your neighbour is going to want to do is have to come out and start cleaning your filters. A lot of the time, pond filters need work doing on them quite regularly. Maybe it's weekly, maybe it's fortnightly, but somebody has to come out and they have to flush pipes clean, unblock sponges and brushes and things like that. Your neighbour is not going to be your friend if you're expecting them to do that. So what I would recommend that you do is that you have a good look at your filter and you see if there's anything that you can do to it that'll make it more able to cope and manage by itself while you're away. Now often in filters you have sponges and you have wadding and things like that, which are there to keep the water really clear. It's not the end of the world if you decide to just move some of this to the side and create a gap so that the water can bypass the filter. While you're away, the water clarity might go off a little bit, but it doesn't matter, you can sort it out when you come back. It's no good expecting your neighbour to start cleaning all this stuff out, so best thing to do is find a workaround. Now, if you've got a Nexus filter, for instance, they actually built a simple feature into the Nexus. It has a 90-degree bend that you can flop over to the side, and that effectively bypasses your mechanical part of your filtration system. While you're away, put the bend over to the side, the water will bypass it. It's not going through the center column, so it can't block up, and nobody needs to go around and carry out that maintenance cycle on it. Let's get that back in there. Right, let's have a look at the fish in the main pond while I have a think if there's anything else that I've got to say about it. I think the coffee on there's gone well cold by now. I bet these ones are hungry in here as well. They're normally up to feed dead quick. So, I think I've mentioned most things. One thing that might be worth doing is having a word with your local koi dealer or your local fish expert and asking him if it's okay to leave your number in case your neighbour needs anything. Did I explain that right? So your local fish expert, if you've given the number of your local fish expert to your neighbour, if they have a problem, they've got someone to ring. Might have a pump that goes under, or the fish might start to behave a bit weird and they might just need a bit extra reassurance. So it's always worth thinking about that. And Wi-Fi cameras. Surprising what 100 quid will get you now. You can get quite a good outdoor camera that operates over Wi-Fi, and you can use it to check in remotely. If you position it on your pond, you'll be able to dial in, you'll be able to sit on the beach in Tenerife and you'll be able to just have a peek at your pond and reassure yourself that everything's alright. Great things, and the quality of them is pretty amazing. We have cameras on all the ponds here at the Water Gardens, and we can be anywhere in the world and we can just dial in and check on everything that's taking place. Right, so I think we'll leave it at that for tonight. I hope that you've enjoyed watching this video and that you'll give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks for watching my video. It's bye for now from Lee at Japanese Water Gardens. Good night.